What's happening, guys? We're back. We're gonna do some woodworking today. All right, so we talked about it last episode. We're gonna do some woodworking today. We need to make a new hood. So this is kind of big. So our old hood is really kind of flimsy and it doesn't work very well. So we need to make a new one, but we need to make it a little more rigid. So we could theoretically just make it thicker, but that's gonna add a whole bunch of weight and we're already kind of fighting weight. And we could theoretically reinforce this hood, but we need to cast a new nose cone and a new cowling anyhow. So we're just gonna do a whole new body mold thing. I still have the old fiberglass molds. I got them in storage, so we'll pull those out and make a new one. But for the hood, my plan is we're gonna add an internal structure to it. Rather than making it thicker, we're gonna add some ribs. I mean, if you pop your hood on your car, you'll see it has like kind of an internal structure, which adds a whole bunch of rigidity without adding a whole bunch of weight. So my plan is, I got some 1/4 inch plywood back there. We're gonna pull that out and we're gonna build kind of a skeleton on the engine, or on the car, so that it clears the engine. And then we're gonna shape it so that it fits inside that hood mold. And then we can cast that into the new fiberglass hood. So the plan for today is we need to cut all the ribs and get them kind of jigsawed together. It's gonna be a little tougher than I thought it would be after looking at it for a bit. Some of the clearances are super tight, so we might only end up with kind of a 3/4 or 1 inch rib, but that'll add a whole bunch of rigidity to the car, or to the hood. We're also going to cast in some carbon fiber tubes on the bottom edge of the hood, down here. That'll help with kind of this, that'll help keep this edge straight so that when we drop the hood down, it meets up with the frame pretty well. And then we can put some kind of locating pins or something on the frame that the hood sits on, so that when we get going, it doesn't wanna flap its wings or anything like that. So I have no idea how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna kind of do it live, and yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So let's grab the jigsaw and some wood and get after it. All right, so there is the basic shape of the hood reinforcement. We only got 2 kind of lateral cross members in there right now. We are gonna put another one here at the back, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna glue everything up the way it sits right now, so we have a nice sturdy base to work from. Then we can put the extra cross members in at the back. We might do something else up at the front, we'll see. We gotta do quite a bit of trimming. This is still like 1.5 inches high, and then obviously we gotta do the corners yet, but before we do any of that stuff, I wanna get this kind of all locked together so that it's not all moving around on us while we're trimming. So this stuff is only like 1/4 inch thick, so there's not a whole lot of gluing area, so I cut a couple of these double up strips. They'll get glued in the corner and give us a little bit more area to glue on, because obviously brad nails or screws or anything like that would just split this stuff into splinters. So let's glue it up. All right, we'll let that dry overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and start shaping it. All right, we're back. Our wood glue is set up. All those joints are pretty sturdy. I wouldn't want to throw it on the ground and test them, but they're good enough for what we're gonna do. So the next step is probably the harder one. We need to shape that essentially square block to fit inside that very not square hood. Now we're gonna do the first step of this with the hood, with the existing hood, knowing that we're gonna have to probably do a little bit of massaging to get it to fit into the mold cavity, because obviously this hood, it's got some flexibility. So having it laying on its back like that, it's gonna open up a little bit. So our shaping is not gonna be 100% accurate, but nothing is 100% accurate on this car. So my plan is I'm gonna mark out where each one of those ribs lands on the chassis. We're gonna pull that whole block off. We're gonna put that hood onto the chassis. I have the hood hinge on there, so we'll be able to locate fore and aft where that hood goes. And then we're gonna transfer those marks onto that hood so that we know where to stick that block in there. And then we can prop it up a known distance and use our like a spacer stick to kind of trace, essentially like a divider, to trace out the rough contours, and then cut those, and then we're going to be on to sanding it and kind of massaging it until it fits in there perfect. And hopefully at the end of this we'll be able to tape that piece into that hood and put the whole shoot and match on the car, probably even bolt it onto that hinge and make sure everything goes up and down and clears. So that's the plan. Let's get after it.
So after that initial kind of rough cut, we're already quite a bit closer. What I did is I cut a little spacer block, and then I spaced each one of these end points up by that far off of this edge. This edge is pretty darn close to our chassis level, and we know that the ends of these strengthening ribs are at our chassis level. So everything's spaced up by that. It's about, I don't know, 2.5 inches. Then we can take our marker and go along, I also put a point into it, and just do a little bit of like kind of the final, where we need to go, tracing it out. We'll also be able to transfer where the step changes, because there is a little bit of there's a notch on the inside of here where that body line is, so we need to give enough room for that. So we'll mark this out and do a little more massaging. All right, guys, we had a catastrophic failure. We busted this, I don't know, horizontal rib. When I look at it, no wonder, there's only about 1/4 inch of actual material left there. So it split while I was sawing off those nubs on the top. And it split because I don't have a strengthening rib on this side. I only have it on this side. So that came apart right there. So now we're hooped. So I think the course of action on that is going to be, I'll set this down. I think the course of action on that is going to be to cut some more of those strips and kind of strengthen all those joints up a little bit better before we move on, and then do the shaping once it's a little more solid. So unfortunately I can't do that today. I had fully intended on getting that piece shaped and actually into the hood today, but it's not gonna happen. So we're gonna end the episode a little early. My apologies, guys. Sometimes you hit a snag like that. So that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next episode, hopefully I'll have that all shaped. I'm just gonna do it off camera. It's gonna be way quicker. And then we can kind of see how that's gonna look. I got another fiberglass mold over there for the bicycle fenders, the front fenders, that needs a little bit of work. And then once that's done, we can get back to fiberglassing. So, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out on Instagram, Left Foot First Media. I actually posted something on Instagram this week. It's just of me doing this, but I'm trying to use it a little bit more. I probably won't, in all honesty. I prefer YouTube videos to Instagram, so gotta pick one or the other. Speaking of, actually, I've talked a couple times about my buddy Brandon over at How's That Street Legal. He has an amazing Instagram channel that he documents all of his builds on. He's about halfway through his latest build, which is some Ferrari prototype car. I don't know what it is, but he's got the chassis all done and he's working on the body. And he actually just started a YouTube channel as well. How's That Street Legal? I'll throw a link in the description below. Go check him out. He's gonna document the entire body making process, and he does it way better than I do. So right from carving a foam buck to making the mold and everything, and making it all dimensionally accurate to scale drawings of a car. When we did this one, it was just really freehand. He's actually trying to replicate all the curves that Ferrari did way back in the 60s. So go throw him a follow, check out some of his videos, check out his Instagram page, it's amazing. And that gives you something to do while I'm busy gluing up a bunch of wood structures. So that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next episode.